one of the last things that we're going to look at as we look at how ancient Rome has had an impact or has influenced modern society deals with language. The language of ancient Rome was Latin. Even though Latin is not a language that we use today, it is a base of a lot of the words that we currently use. And Latin was one of those languages that, even into the Middle Ages, was being used by scholars in the Roman Catholic Church. Scribes would use Latin as they're writing down scripture, and if the wealthy wanted to communicate with other wealthy families, they would be the ones who are writing in Latin. It became a language or a written language that only the educated and only the upper class could read and understand, because the poorer class, the poorer individuals, the slaves, the workers of the field, they were not taught anymore how to use this language. They were not taught to read. They were not taught to write. So therefore, it became more of an aristocratic or church-affiliated language. There are many languages that can find their roots in Latin. And some of those languages are Italian, Spanish, French, but not English. English is more of a Germanic language. So let's take a look at English, and because there are some words that we use in English that are definitely Latin, prefixes that are Latin, root words that are Latin, but the language on a whole is not going to be considered Latin-based. English can really trace its roots back to the year 1066. That would be when the Norman invasion, that would be when the Normans conquered England. And the Normans spoke French. But the English language, as it develops, it's going to develop out of a very Germanic language that was strongly influenced by the Norman French, but it's not going to find its absolute root base in Latin from Rome. Like I said, we are going to use pieces and parts of Latin as we develop the modern English language. And part of that is going to come from the fact that we have 26 letters in the English language. Latin has 23. Latin is going to be an important part of terms that are used in law, terms that are used in medicine, as well as terms that are going to be used in religion. And the religion piece makes perfect sense because Latin stayed within the church for so long. So we can say that it influenced law, medicine, and religion. As I stated earlier, that prefixes and root words of many English words are derived from Latin words. So let's take a look at even the word prefix. The beginning of this word, pre, is Latin. It actually means in front of. And fix means to fasten or attach. So pre, in front of, something that comes before. Fix, that is your root or what the pre is attached to. So prefix. Now, when we try to look at some modern day examples, let's take a look at the penny. As you take a look at this penny here, you'll notice that there are some Latin words actually on the back. It says e pluribus unum, which means out of one many. And we see things even, we do see it on our currency, but you'll see it on banks and libraries, that we use these Latin words as part of either the symbol of the organization. So even our state has a lot of different symbols that are directly Latin based. The other thing that you'll notice, especially on currency and buildings, are things called Roman numerals. Roman numerals are a system of using letters to represent numbers. Some examples are an I equals 1, V equals 5, X equals 10, L equals 50, C equals 100, and then there's even D, which equals 500, and and M, which equals 1,000. A lot of times you'll see these numbers on clocks, and when we have a combination of these letters, they represent different numbers. So say you have VII, that would equal 7, because it's 5 plus 1 plus 1. And then even the subtraction. So if you have IX, well, we know X is 10 minus 1, so that equals 9. Take a look at the $1 bill. On the back of the $1 bill, there's a set of Roman numerals. I'm going to give you a chance to take a look at it. I'll ask a question here in just a moment for you to figure out what number is represented on the back of the $1 bill using these characters. Good luck.